Once a giant, always a giant. For me, it's only a giant.
So check it out. The D6 Squad has merch now. We got hoodies, tees, mugs, whatever you need. Check it out. Link in the description. What's going on YouTube? Diggy546. Definitely hit that subscribe button if you're new. Like the video if you like the video. And I won't tell if you click that bell. But let's go ahead and get into this. So PFF, they always come up with something interesting. Daniel Jones has been ranked as the Giants' most improved player for 2020. And at first glance, you kind of look at that and say, I don't know how to feel about that. That's how most people are looking at it. We saw him improve in some areas, other areas not so much. I mean, some areas people would say that he kind of fell off in. I would think that's more about the offense than Daniel Jones, though. I don't think the way that he played and his talent level and how well he managed the offense at times, I don't think that really says 11 touchdowns. I don't think his stats really represent how well he played and how much better he understood the game. Now, he did cut those turnovers down, and that's something that PFF really puts a lot of emphasis on, making sure that people don't make those mistakes. I know with their defense, if you're a defensive player that makes some mistakes but makes a lot of big plays, you don't really get ranked as high as someone who doesn't make any plays and just never makes mistakes. So Daniel Jones cut down the mistakes. He definitely did that. One less interception. I think he might have played, one more game than last year? So one less interception than before. Less fumbles. A lot less fumbles. Last year he lost his games with fumbles. Early on in the season he lost probably that Bucs game with those 2 interceptions. But in the second half of the season, Daniel Jones was playing very sound football. He started to really get into the game when he was running the ball. Moving around in the pocket looked a lot better at that. At times could get outside the pocket and make great decisions. Early on in his career and early on this season, we saw way too many times where the play broke down, Daniel Jones escaped, and instead of throwing the ball away or finding someone open, he would just end up forcing it, and it would be a turnover. So I'm glad that he's kind of fixed that. I'm glad that he's really improving these turnovers. Now, the 11 touchdowns is inexcusable. He's got to have more touchdowns on the board than that. But one thing that I will say is Wayne Gallman took a lot of those touchdowns. I mean, a lot of times Daniel Jones took us down to the 3 or 4 yard line, and this is credit to our offense. This is credit to our offensive line. We actually turned around, handed the football off 2 or 3 times and got into the end zone, which is something the Giants have not been able to do since maybe 2010. So I say that that's progress, and I say that's a good thing. And I think those quarterback stats should be reevaluated. And, it should be touchdown drives, maybe how many passes they throw on that touchdown drive. So I think it should be touchdown drives instead of touchdowns, because a quarterback has to be able to get your team down the field in most cases, besides that one, probably the Seahawks game where Wayne Gallman pretty much, took off. But when you look at the other Giants players, maybe Wayne Gallman is a candidate. Jabril Peppers may be a candidate. Maybe Julian Love. He was a guy that was solid all year. Maybe Leonard Williams. But I don't really think what I saw on tape this year is that much different from last year. He just got home this year. Dexter Lawrence has been probably about the same. Dalvin Tomlinson has been amazing, but he's always amazing. He's been amazing the past 2 years, especially when graded by PFF. When you look at the other guys, Will Hernandez kind of fell off a little dealing with the virus. Andrew Thomas is a rookie. Shane Lemieux is a rookie. Matt Parrott's a rookie. So we got a lot of guys who weren't here last year. A lot of guys who were rookies that made plays for us. Let's see. You guys go and type in the comments who you think was the most improved player, because I'm trying to think of guys who really stepped up this year, who, probably weren't as good last year. I think Lorenzo Carter would have been a good example of that if he would have been able to, if he would have been able to play that entire season. I think Lorenzo Carter would have definitely been an example of that. But when you look around, I think Daniel Jones might be towards the top for how much he really improved the game, in between his ears. to be able to not turn the ball over and to be able to work through his reads while on the move. Because that's one thing. He's always had the athleticism, but he never really had the athleticism along with being able to think while he's moving around. And it seems like he's able to do that now. Now, the Daniel Jones thing is getting beat to death. Giants fans, half of this fan base hates Daniel Jones. Half of the fan base, they think he's great. And, maybe a little bit of both of those sides are in the middle where they're just waiting to see. Some people are waiting to see if he's bad. Some people are waiting to see if he's good. But most fans either love or hate Daniel Jones, which is just great New York sports. I mean, Eli Manning, fans hated him his entire career. And then fans, loved him his entire career. And some fans were just in the middle on it. But that's just what happens when you play for the Giants. But going into next year, he's going to have Saquon Barkley back, which is a big plus. I mean, his quarterback rating, I think, is like over 100 when Saquon is playing. He's going to have Sterling Shepard coming back, who he's had solid chemistry with. I just put up a video about Sterling Shepard. He had a 73% catch percentage. Really good chemistry with Daniel Jones, and they're going to continue to build off of that. Whether he's the second or third receiver, he's going to be a possession guy who is going to continue to be a reliable target for him. Darius Slayton, he's got chemistry with him. Hopefully Darius Slayton can get healthy, and maybe he's the fourth receiver going into next year, which will make this receiving core amazing. And then you add on someone like Kenny Golladay and Jalen Waddle, or Kenny Golladay and a second-round guy like Terrace Marshall or Amon-Ra St. Brown, or even maybe Rondale Moore falls to us. There's a lot of different ways we can go. But if we have those four, the core four, someone like Golladay, Waddle, Shepard, and Slayton, there are no excuses. I don't care how bad Jason Garrett's offense is. You do not need to be throwing 11 touchdowns. You should be in the 30s because that is way too much playmaking. And if you have all of that, that means the pressure is off of Evan Ingram and the pressure is kind of off Saquon Barkley. So that offense should be running through people no matter what the coordinator is doing. I just don't think it's possible to mess that up. I don't think Jason Garrett can mess that up. He's proven that he can kind of work with talented receivers, with talented offenses. Turning the ball and just, turning around and handing it off to Saquon 20 times a game or, 18 times a game and throwing it to him 7 times a game. And then to add in all of those new weapons is going to really make this offense explosive. And then you have the ability to run with the quarterback. So I think Daniel Jones will take a next step forward again next year. And I think he might really be up there as far as most improved Giants. So you guys let me know what you think of PFF's ranking. I think that Daniel Jones is improving. I think maybe someone like Jabril Peppers could be up there because he had a really good season. He was all over the place. But Daniel Jones is up there. When you look at the things, when you put the stats aside, I mean, of course, 24-12 is a lot better than 11-9. But when you look at the fact that Daniel Jones has always kind of had a high turnover percentage and a high interception percentage, when you look at the fact that at one point he was like the lead in the league in attempts without an interception, it just shows you the step that he's taken from year 1 to year 2. Let's just all hope, even the Giants fans that hate, even if you hate Daniel Jones, you should not be rooting for him to fail. But even the Giants fans that hate Daniel Jones, we're all rooting for him to take another step forward and really put this team on his back. And he shouldn't even have to do that because of the talent around him, but really be able to get this team to being a playoff team if we reward him with all of these weapons. There should be no excuses. This is put up or shut up. Prove it or go home. So if you made it this deep into the video, I'm calling you a D6 Squad member. If you're a D6 Squad member, you got to hit that subscribe button. You got to turn on that notification bell. And listen, I make all kinds of content for NFL teams. So if you're not a Giants fan, don't worry. I'll cover your team. If I'm not covering your team, let me know. And have a good one.